Okay, so now we have one of the most action-packed. These next few daf are from the most action-packed in Shas. All right, Baruch Hashem, they're not hard, at least hard to understand. There's a lot of action in these things. Yeah, so we'll start with Kibbut Avayim, and then we go into Mitzvah Seishas Man Groma, and yeah, so there's a lot here. We have a minion on now?
Yeah, Tiago, you got 15. You're good.
Okay, so yeah, so that the Mishnah, yeah, call mitzvahs haben ala av, all mitzvahs that a son does with a father, or that's on the son onto the father. So anoshim chayavin v'noshim beturis, men are chayiv and women are potter. V'chol mitzvahs ha'av al haben, and if it's a mitzvah from the father onto the son, then echad anoshim v'echad noshim chayav, and then both men and women are chayav. We have to see in the Gemara exactly what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we're going to get to it, but like Mila is obviously one of the more prominent examples of the mitzvah or a ben al. There's no scenario where the woman's mechuyev, like even as a community, like I know the community is mechuyev at some point. She's not considered part of that community.
Sounds like not.
Meaning, when they say community, it means stam. Like, what does that mean? Bezdin. The woman never has the chiyuv on her.
Seems like not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when Sipara did Mila on her on was it Gershon? She wasn't mechuyev at the time.
Could have been she did because pikuach was pikuach nefesh for her husband.
Right. It's a whole zaf. Right. That's a whole sugya with right. It's a whole sugya with whether she was mechuyev. That's where is that?
I don't think we got to it.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't remember. But that's a whole thing that we learn out that women are the be'etzah we paskin that women are kosher to do.
Well, obviously they're kosher. My question is was it a chiyuv that she was doing?
Right. I don't know. So let's see the sugya. Anyway, so that's the first thing. Anything that's a mitzvah from the son onto the father is only men are chayiv and women are not. But if it's a mitzvah from the father onto the son, then it's both men and women. Okay, we'll see in the Gemara what that is. V'chol mitzvah sasei shazman grama, anoshim chayavim, anoshim peturos. Mitzvah sasei shazman grama, men are chayiv and women are potter. V'chol mitzvah sasei shelo yazman grama, and if it's a mitzvah sasei that's not time bound, echad anoshim ve'echad anoshim chayavim, whether it's men or women, so they're chayiv. Right? V'chol mitzvahs loisaseh, and a mitzvahs loisaseh, bein shazman grama, bein shelo yazman grama, whether it's a time bound, not time bound, echad hanoshim ve'echad hanoshim chayavim. Men and women are chayiv. In loisa says equally, chutz mipal takif, except for making your payas, making your head round, which is payas, ubal tashchis, and no destroying your beard. They're not involved in that one either. Ubal tetami lamesim, and that they shouldn't become tamei mace. Obviously, that last one applies to Kehanim, right? A woman, whatever, Bas Kohen, that they have no problem becoming Tomei. And of course, me and Aaron Kaplan have this ongoing machlokes about whether a pregnant Kohen could, a wife of a pregnant Kohen can go to a cemetery or not.
No, that's not what you said. You said it wrong again.
A wife of a pregnant Kohen, sorry. Thank you. A pregnant, a wife. You think about your
Israelis who's married to a Kohen, is that what you want to say?
A Kohen's wife who's pregnant. She does not have to be a Bas Kohen. That's what it is. She does not have to be.
We had this machlokes for years and we're still talking. It's amazing.
Correct. There you
One
go.
second. And she could or she can't. What do you say?
So the Rekeach and the Shach brings it. It's a Svek Sveiko.
Oh.
Right? She could zikr become tummy. What's the problem? Even she's a baska and she could become tummy. That's what the Mishnah is saying. Question is, does she have a baby girl?
So what do you say?
What do I say? I tell people
He says
to go.
it's a shachan or a keich. So what kind of question? Parents, I apologize to you.
I'm trying to get the machlokes between him and Aaron.
What are you asking? He starts out telling you it's a machlokes shachan or keich. So what is your issue?
I wanted to know the sides between him and Aaron.
What?
Aaron thinks that you can't.
That's it. Is
go.
that a problem?
He wants to know contemporary poskim, Rabbi.
No, I
He don't want to hear from Shach.
That was very good. I was about to say, what's the hear from the contemporary question? Shach and the Rokeach.
Yeah, Aaron Kaplan thinks they should not go, and I always tell that I lean towards.
So Aaron's more mach. Okay, that's it. I just wanted it. He said something. I wanted a clarification on their machlokes. That's it, Rav Aaron.
There you go. Okay.
Now, what does the Rekach and Shach have to say? Because I would like to know what the real place have to say. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Akiva, you're too practical. What should I tell you?
I'm sorry. We're gonna put them in the corner there and ask Aaron Kaplan instead of the Rekach and the Shach.
Akiva, careful, Akiva, careful.
You're gonna get muted for the night.
You're gonna.
Okay, for this I'll get muted.
It's a svek sveka. It's a svek. They say svek sveka, and that you could go Suffolk, whether the fetus is
A boy or girl.
a boy or a girl.
That's
Right.
one suffix.
And the other one, what's the second suffix? I'm remembering the second suffix. What's the second suffix?
It's specifically a wife of a Kohen or any pregnant woman?
No, what's a pregnant woman if she's married to Yisrael? What's the problem? You know, Naftali, because you're a Hasidic, so you're getting into that pregnant women can't go to a cemetery. We're not talking about that. That's not halacha. That's not halacha. No.
Why? Because it's Hasidic?
It's just not halacha, which I tell you.
One second. Who says? You said they both say the Rekach and
I'm not remembering now.
One
What's
says
the
not?
Sveka?
does one say like Aaron or no one says like Aaron?
Yes, no, of course they say that.
Oh,
No,
you
mean-
Well, what if it's not a
Aaron
suffix?
says
What if you got a
that's one of the
sonogram and it's not a suffix?
Oh, so that the shaila comes to do. If you get a sonogram, that's almost the negaya next week. If you get a sonogram, a pregnant woman gets a sonogram.
Oh, for
so she
kaparos.
needs for kaparos. No, another major issue in Klal Yisrael, right? How many chickens do you
That's
need?
$18 more, you know?
Correct. So does a sonogram tell you?
But Yaakov, well, what's the shaila? If the baby could go into the cemetery while it's in the mother's womb?
That's I think that's the
why if you hold over your achimra, why would it matter?
Right. So that's part of the shaila. I think that's
part of the Svek Sveka?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's the other suffix. One is if it's considered part of the mother, so therefore it's not a boy, and two, it might be a girl.
Well, that's a shaila how we paskin, no? If over your achimra or not, that's not a shaila in
No, but it still becomes a since it's a machlokes, it still is a suffix.
Is that considered part of Svek Sveka if it's a machlokes?
I'm understanding. Realize this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I didn't. Every Svek Sveka could be if it's just a machlokes.
As long as it's a machlokes, it becomes a svek sveka. Yes. Yeah.
I thought it's a shaila in scenarios. That's what's considered. That's a normal Svek Sveka.
No, you could say we have a suffix whether we paskin this way or not, and then it's a svek sveka. Yeah, but anyway, so now what's up, Sean, in this Mishnah? Fascinating Pnei Yeshua. It's Kedai to look it up. I don't know if it's Kedai. We'll say it over. It's not, but what's this Mishnah? Where does this Mishnah land from? Right? Like, what does this have to do with anything? So the Ritva says a very pashut pshat, because one of the things that a father has to do for the son, it doesn't say Vaferish in the Mishnah, but one of the things that a father has to do with the son is marry him off. So Mamela, that's why this Mishnah is up now in Kiddushin. Pnei Yeshua says that we've been talking about kinyanim for the last bunch of blot, right? Then he says that now we're talking about the real kinyan. Now we're talking about the kinyanim to get olam haba. Till now we've been talking about kinyanim, how to buy things, sell things. You want olam haba? Now he tells you the mitzvahs. Who got to keep which mitzvahs? How you keep the mitzvahs? He says those are the real kinyanim, and those kinyanim you can't be kinda with meshicha and hagbah and all that. You have to do the work to do the mitzvahs in order to get the olam haba. That's the real kinyan. That's the way to Pnei Yeshua. It's not I'm not no big bucky in Pnei Yeshua's, but it doesn't sound like a standard Pnei Yeshua pshat, right? Again, he's saying that you should. Here's the real kinyan to be kind of ilam haba. It's kedai for the week before Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. Yeah, so Zok Gemara. My kol mitzvahs haben alav. What does it mean? All mitzvahs of the son on a father. If it's talking about all the mitzvahs that a son is chayav to do for a father, meaning kibbut avaim, noshim peturas, noshim apoter, of course they're chayav. But Tanya, ish, it says ish, right? Ish aviv, ish imay va'aviv tiro. So it says man, ainli ala ish, isha minayin, kishuaymer ish imay va'aviv tiro. When it says a man, his mother and his father, they should tira'u is a plural. Harei kan shnayim, that tells you that there's two. So both the boy and the girl need to be mechaber kibbut aveim. So it can't be that it's talking about that the first line in the Mishnah is talking about kids doing mitzvahs for the parents, and that's only a requirement for the son, not a daughter. So what is it? Some review kol mitzvahs haben hamutelas ala'av, all the mitzvahs of a son that are placed on the father, lasles lebenoi, that a father has to do as his parental duty. And noshim chayavin, that's only a chiyav on men, and noshim are peturos. Right? Like what? So Tanina la the Tanur Rabbanon. Ha'av chayav b'bnoi, a father is chayav and his son lamuloi to give him a bris. Liftaisei do pidyon haben, lalamdei Torah to teach him Torah. Lasiya isha, marry him off to a woman. Ulalamdei umnes, and he's got to teach him a umnes. V'yesh oimrim, and we'll get back to this. V'yesh oimrim af lashita b'mayim. He has to teach him how to swim too. Why? Because Rashi says he might be on a boat and the boat might sink, so you got to teach him how to swim. Right? And so in Rabbi Yehuda, if you don't teach your son a trade, then you're teaching him to become a crook. Because you didn't teach him a trade, you taught him how to be a crook. It says if you taught him listus, right?
Well, it says teach him how to swim. You have to teach him how to drive, teach him how to fly, teach him how to.
So from Rashi is mashma that the reason why you have to teach him how to swim is because that was motzi. That's you went on a boat. So
drive. So it means if you don't teach your kid how to drive, the same would apply today, right?
No. Why?
So nowadays you don't have to teach him how to swim.
Right. So it's mashma. Yes. Then nowadays the Rashi at least.
What's
mashma,
the issue? Because he might be on a boat. He might go on a boat, and he's gonna have to learn how to swim, or he might go. Let's say he won't go on a boat. I'm saying
because back then it was common to go. Back then it was a common way to go on a boat.
Today it's common to go on a car. So if let's say it goes
to do with capsizing.
No, but it's common to go in a car. Good. So teach him how to put on a seatbelt.
Teach him how to drive. Let's say the guy.
I heard it doesn't say you have to teach a guy how to be a sailor. Doesn't say you have to teach him how to be a sailor.
You have to teach him how to swim. Why?
Because there might be an accident.
So there might be an accident in the car, and he might have to learn how to drive. What I'm saying? What do we?
No, one is
no. If there's an accident, the car's not working. Teach him how to be safe.
If the guy faints behind the thing, I'm saying why is that determined?
Rav Zilberstein, hello? Rav Zilberstein, I heard it here this morning. Rav Zilberstein did say a person mechayiv teach his son how to drive based on this.
He said this?
That's it's not mashma from Rashi like that at all.
I don't know.
From Rashi, it's mashma big time.
No, Rashi, not all. Rashi said you should teach him how to swim to avoid sakana. Don't drive, and you can avoid. There's no sakana.
Really, if a guy falls asleep at the wheel, right, and somebody should, so I should be.
What happens if someone falls asleep at the wheel?
That's not the same thing at all compared to the case of going in a boat.
Okay, I don't understand. Okay,
many boats.
I don't need a tushta. Doctor, where'd you hear this from?
That's a huge tradition.
Dr. Zakharowitz, where'd you hear it from? I'm curious if the
I heard it on Stepansky.
Yeah?
I wouldn't make that up.
No.
Nice to hear his voice.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to ask Shai. No, I'm curious if it's in a safer or anything. I don't hear it. I don't hear it. I mean, Zev hears it. I don't hear it. Here we're talking about those drowning is in case the boat capsizes. To me, the equivalent of teaching how to drive would be to teach him how to drive a boat. That's the equivalent. Drowning would be the equivalent of how to call 911 if you get into an accident. Not buying it, Zev. Okay, fine.
Now that planes take over, what are you doing to
There's
teach him?
not.
There's nothing to teach him.
There's no.
They give the
teach.
class before the
There's
plane.
nothing to
Okay.
teach.
Nothing to
L'chorah.
teach.
Now, going back to this. Now, to teach him an umnus, right? An umnus is not like, people want to use this to say you teach him college. Maybe, meaning it's not. We're going to see this later on in tomorrow's daf, the next daf, about it's not, maybe it's even today's daf, I don't remember. But it's not pshat that you're teaching him how to do business. You're teaching him a trade that he can constantly fall back on in order to make a living. Meaning, let's say a shoemaker, right? So you taught your kid how to be a shoemaker. Everybody needs shoes, right? It's, what do you call it? It's recession proof, as they call it. It's a recession proof thing. I mean, not exactly, but meaning you teach a kid how to be an electrician or a shoes or a this or a that. So then he could do it.
We don't do that today.
Right? We don't do that. We don't do it. Even college doesn't do that. Doing
Who
business
says who says ain't numinous Torah?
that's a different machlokes and brachas. That's a different machlokes, right? Anyways, but okay, we're gonna see. We're gonna have to go back and see that.
See,
again.
many times people go to college just for a fallback plan, just to have a degree, just in case whatever they're doing doesn't work. I'm saying it doesn't have to be college. Any craft is, any trade school is also fine, but
no, that's
you don't
true.
have to teach it to him. You could pay for him to get taught the same way you could pay for Talmud Torah.
Correct. I'm saying so. Fakert. Sometimes a lot of times college is not going to help for that. Teaches you how to do business.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. It's like everything else.
Correct. So you have to pick the right.
Sometimes becoming an electrician in a market where there's no construction is a bad idea. Also.
Well, yes, obviously, to teach your kid to own
you could
phone
say
booth.
is not almost nothing is actually recession proof. Everything has their time where it's just not good.
Sewing, shoemaker.
If people don't have money, they're not going to hire you to be a
healthcare.
I'm just saying.
Break. They need to. The shoes break. They need to. Okay, whatever it is. Yeah, but a craft usually you need people to do these jobs. A farmer. You got to be a farmer. Okay, during a drought, obviously, it's going to be a problem. Anyways, okay. So let's see.
Ain't numinous Torah. You didn't answer that one yet.
I told you it's a machlokes whether
Yeah,
you're
that depends who his father or his shver is. That is
Not our sugya.
Yeah, that's a different machlokes whether you're
Zev,
supposed to
where's
go
the
out
link
and
again?
learn. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Right. So Luminayin. How do you know that the father is the one that has to give the bris? Avram gave Yitzchak his bris. Avram was the father. And if the father doesn't give the bris, then Bezdin is chayiv. You should give to you. You should give a bris all zachar. And when Bezdin doesn't do it, he's got to do it himself.
Why doesn't he bring Moshe Rabbeinu and his wife?
That was already asked.
Okay, I missed it.
If a person does not have a bris, he's going to be cut off. Okay, fine. Doesn't say anywhere that a woman has to. So how do we know that a woman is not chayiv to give a bris at all? Like Hashem commanded. Hashem commanded him, meaning Avram Avinu, and not her. Right? Now you have a famous Taisus right here. To the left, why don't we just say that it's mitzvah to say shazman groma? Right? Because when is a bris supposed to be done? On the 8th day. Right? So it's a mitzvah to say shazman groma. Nashima paturas, if she's potter, she's not chayiv to give one to the son. Right? So Taisus answers, yeah, it's supposed to be on the 8th day, but once the 8th day passes, it's no longer a zman groma. Then it's ASAP. Right? So that's not considered zman groma. Right?
Did Moshe have to do the bris over? That Tzipora did?
No,
the
Gemara says that the Lamaisa woman is kosher to do a bris. I think that's the Maskanas Advarim. Right? And then Tosfos has a different.
But if it is Mount Grum, we don't do brisim at night.
Oh,
If we
so
don't do brisim at
that's
night, then
Tosfos'
it is
next
a Mount
kasha.
Grum. Okay.
Very good. That's Tosfos' next kasha. Bris is not at night, so it's a mitzvah to say shazman groma, right? I mean, why is tefillin mitzvah to say shazman groma? You're supposed to wear tefillin all day. The reason is because tefillin is not, you're not supposed to wear tefillin at night, right? So how come bris should still be a zman groma even after the 8th day? So Tosfos says we're going with the mandama that says that mila shaloi bizmana can be done at night also.
There's a gzeira on tefillin though. Shalo yifir, shalo yishan behen, v'lo yifir behen. That's
Right.
a gzeira on tefillin. Without that, you would have to be wearing it.
So then why don't they wear it?
Because shalo yifir behen, shalo yishan behen. You shouldn't
That's
sleep.
nice. So why don't women wear tefillin?
There's other reasons, though. See, Yaakov, but they could. It's just that there's they
could
because I thought it's not.
they're dirty. Yeah. But
That's separate issue. I don't know if it's only.
That's not why they do. Meaning, but they're potter al mitzvah to say shazman grom. Lemaisa, they are potter al mitzvah to say shazman grom. But I don't. Well, Rachaman's kasha notwithstanding, but yeah. Anyways, so Ashkar miyad l'doros minayin. That's only telling you for Avram and Sarah. How do you know that in future generations? So Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, Kol Makom Shenemar Tzav, Any Ela Zirus Miyad Uladoris. Anytime it says the word Tzav, that's for Zrizim and for Doris. Zrizos, the Sivat Tzavas Yeshua v'Chaskeu v'Amtzeu, they command Yeshua and give him strength. Miyad Uladoris, the Siv Min Hayoim Asher Tziva Hashem v'Holo Uladoris Heifem. Fine. Okay. So that's how we know that a woman.
Yeshua was after Matan Torah. Avram Avinu was before Matan Torah.
True, but we're just bringing a raya that the word sav means that. Right? That's all we're trying to bring a raya. Right? Yeah, fine. Liftai, so similar Gemara. So what about Pidyon Aben? Minalan, how do we know that the father is chayiv to do Pidyon Aben? Kol bechar benecha tzivta. All the bechar, all your children that are bechars, you have to be paida. And if the father doesn't do it, then he's chayiv to do it himself. I mean, what happened to Bezdin here, right? Bris, if the father didn't do it, then it goes to Bezdin. If Bezdin doesn't do it, then he does it. Here we skip Bezdin, right? Okay, just aura. V'ihi minalan delay mifkada. Right, because like the same thing. If who does the Pidyon Aben when the father's a guy? Right, so that's who's the Pidyon?
It falls on the kid himself.
Or that's the Shiloh. Does it fall on the kid himself, or does it fall on to Bezdin? So Bezdin l'char is not mentioned here, right? But that's also a Shiloh in the Paiskim.
Well, if a guy has a kid with a shiksa, does he have to give him a bris?
No, because the kid's not Jewish.
We give the father a bris.
It's not
Jewish. The father a bris.
Should have done, yeah.
Pidyon Ben goes after the mother, the first.
We're going to get to on number basis. It goes after both, but it doesn't go after both. It's going to be
chayav both ways.
It's chayav and potter both ways. Wait till Lamed Beis. Yes, enough to make us confused. That's for sure.
It's the regular state we're in.
Yes. How do we know the woman's not chayav? The sif tifta si poda. Right. Kol shemitzvah liftais es atzmai. Anybody who's mitzvah, kol shemitzvah liftais es atzmai. If you're mechuyev to be.
So why did Avram? I'm sorry. Why did Avram mal Yishmael for?
He was told to. He has to.
So he mauled a baby he had with a shiksa.
That's koydem matan Torah.
Oh, so that's koydem matan Torah. Now it's koydem matan Torah.
Yeah, I get.
It's a separate mitzvah.
What do you mean?
Hashron gave him a separate mitzvah to Mal Yishmael, to Mal Yitzchak. Yishmael was Maled when he was 13 years old. Yitzchak when he was 8 days.
Yishmael was the lead beso. You know what it is.
It was a separate tzivui.
It is a separate tzivui, correct. Okay, anyways, so mit the minolan delay mifkada tifta sipade. If you're commanded to be part of yourself, you're mitzvah to be part of others. If you're not mitzvah to be part of yourself, you're not mitzvah to be part of others. Right? So since she is not mechuyev to be part of herself, she's not mechuyev to be part of her son either. How do we know a woman doesn't have to do pidyon haben on herself? Right? Now we go around in a circle. Anybody who others are mechuyev to be pa'idim, mitzvah liftais asatzma, they're chayiv to do themselves. And others are not mechuyev to be pa'idim, and mitzvah liftais asatzma, so you're not mechuyev to be pa'idim yourself. Right? Okay. Meaning, so which came first, the chicken and egg over here? We're saying that she doesn't have to be pa'idim herself because nobody has to be pa'idim her. Right? And nobody has to be paid to her because she doesn't have to be paid to herself. Right? We're just essentially going around in a circle. Right? So, okay, but that's so how do we know that people are not mechuyev to be paid to the woman? All the bechor of your sons. Your boys and not your girls. Fine. So now we get to some lamdish shaylos. The Tanaban who liftais ubenoi liftais. Let's say he has to do a pidyon haben, meaning his father didn't do a pidyon haben in him, and he has to also be paid to his son. So who goes first? Who kaidim lebnoi? He goes first. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, meaning because the priority is to take care of yourself. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, benoi kaidmai. His son goes first. This one, his mitzvahs on his father. And this mitzvah is benoi, and this one he also has the mitzvah. Meaning, really, who is the according to the second sheet, according to Rabbi Yehuda, who's the ikar mitzvah is on the father, not on him. So you don't really have that mitzvah. So this guy whose father was not paid to him, but he has to be paid to his son. So he has more of a mitzvah to be paid to his son than to be paid to himself, because to be paid to himself is really his father's job, not his job.
Even when he becomes a befar, even when he becomes a gadol, like by Mila, is that true also? Like when you become a gadol,
his father died, so the mitzvahs are totally on him.
Right. So does it kick in on him, or does that still mean that it's not? Right. It's still on the father.
Is it because it's like a secondary to you, or is it be sorry that it was on it's a father dika mitzvah and you're just taking care of it agav?
Right, I hear. No, that's all part of the shiloh. Exactly what is it? What it is.
And is this true by Mila also?
I think so. But I'm not sure. Each one has such nuances. Yeah. Okay. So Amar Rav Yirmiyah, Hakol Maidin, everybody's Maida on Tamar Beis now. That Kol Heicha Deleka El Chomesh Slime. Let's say the guy only has 5 slime. So who Kaidim Levanai? He comes before his sons. My time of mitzvah the gufei adifa. Then his own mitzvah, on his own guf is more important. Keep ligi. Where's the machlokes?
He didn't get the 5 sons. He had no money, 0, till his son became 30 days old. Then he got 5 slime.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
The chayra. What else? What else would be the case? So maybe he never had 5 slime and he yarshined it. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So who kaidem lebenai? My time of mitzvah the kufei adifa. Keep ligi hechet deika chomesh mishubadim. V'chomesh b'nei choron. So now here, right? He has 5 of his own coins. He also has 5 coins that are meshubad, meaning he borrowed money, right? And then he went and he sold his field to this guy who he borrowed the money from. He sold his field to somebody else, right? Now, then his son was born. And then he realized that he didn't do a pidyon haben himself, and his son didn't get a pidyon haben. So now he's got 5 coins cash, and his money is tied up, but the guy could come back and he could come take it, and he could say, "Hey," meaning the kohen could come say, "Hey, 1 second, the money, you owe me money, right? And Mamela, I'm going to go get back this land that you sold and take that, and then we'll sell that land, take the money, do the pidyon haben." Right? So meaning he has 5 that's that's owned by creditors, and he has his own 5 cash. So anything that has a halva that's from the Torah, which is basically this pidyon aben, where it's essentially that his son is owned by a kohen. He owes his son to the kohen, but you paid it instead, right? So that's considered as if it's written in the star, and we know that things that are written in the star are meshubed, right? It's like there's a lien on it, and the guy can go collect from somebody who this fellow sold the field to. So bahani chomish parak lebrei. So the 5 that he has, he's by his son. Va'azal kohen v'tarav le'lechomish v'shubadim l'didei, and the kohen goes and he takes the 5 that are meshubed for him. Meaning, let's just paint the scenario again after all the hakdamas. Meaning, he essentially had a field, right, worth 5. Then his son was born. Right when the son is born, he needs to give 5 silver coins to the kohen. It's as if he borrowed it from him, right? But then he went and sold the field, right? Since he sold the field, that field is really a lien that's owed to the kohen. So essentially, the kohen could go to the guy who bought the field from him and say, "Hey, he owes me 5 silver coins for his son, right? So therefore, I'm going to come and take your field away." Right? Not for the son, I'm sorry, for himself. And he has to be done specifically in this order. The 5 silver coins that he has cash have to go to Pipaida, his son, right? And the field has to go to him. The shibudim of the field go to him, right? Because meaning he was meshubed to the kohen before he sold the field, right? So that's the way Rabbi Yehuda holds. Rabbanan Sabri. If any halva that's in the Torah is not as if it's written in the star, and therefore it's not meshubed. So if the guy sold the land, the guy doesn't have to sell it. It's back to Hilkoch. Mitzvah de gufei adif. The mitzvah himself is better. Fine. So Tana Rabbanon.
But
Now, yeah.
I mean, I understood what the keeper was saying. He said very good before, but this mitzvah's been hanging on him since he's bar mitzvah. He's 45 years old now. He has this mitzvah for 32 years, way before his baby's born. There's no baby yet.
Well, so exactly. So that's why Rabbi Yehuda says it has to be in that specific order, right? That it has to be that the 5 cash goes for the son. And him, it goes for how do you say it? And him, it's from the Meshubed, because his karka was already.
If I'm cash poor, I don't have to do mitzvahs.
What?
If I'm cash poor, I don't have to do mitzvahs.
Oh, 1 second. That we're gonna get back to that in a minute. That's a major kasha here, major kasha here. Right?
Well, we know by the Dalit Kais system, even if you don't have cash, you have to sell everything, right?
Okay, so 1 second. So here's the kasha that the Bir Halacha asks, and there's a lots of tumult about this. We know that to be Mekayim and Mitzvah Saseh, you don't spend more than 1/5 of your money. Right? So what's going on over here? This is only five silver coins that he has. Why is he's considered an ani? He should be potter. Right? You're not mechuyev to spend all your money. You're mechuyev to spend all your money to get out of a lois aseh. That you're mechuyev to do. You're not mechuyev to spend all your money to do a mitzvah aseh.
What do you mean get out of lois aseh? An example?
A guy tells you, give me say lashon hara on your friend, otherwise I'm taking every penny you own. You're mechuyev to lose every penny.
Okay, but to go buy tefillin, you're not mechuyev.
Correct. Tefillin, lulav, esrog, you're not mechuyev.
Hanukkah is something different about that, right?
Hanukkah, also the Rabbanon. That's the interesting thing. Hanukkah and Dalit Kaisis.
Because it's Pesume Nisa, so that's a different shul.
Because the Pesume Nisa. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think. Anyway, so that's the Shaila here. So I don't remember now all the different tirutzim. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva about it. So the Bir Halacha, I think, says that that's when the Torah tells you to do a mitzvah. When the Torah tells you have to give 5 coins and you have the 5 coins, then you have to give it. Meaning, if there's another mitzvah that doesn't give a price on it, so then you're not mechuyev to spend. But here, you have to, the Torah says you got to give 5 coins. Okay, you have the 5 coins, so give it. I think that's the Bir Halacha's teretz. Or maybe it's Ramosha's teretz. Yeah, but anyways, but that's the big tumult from this sugya. Fine. Tana Rabbanan. That part was the harder part. This is easier. Liftais is benoy v'lalais l'regel. To be paida your son or to go up to aliyah l'regel. So what comes first? So paida is benoy v'achar kach aliyah l'regel. First you do the pidyon haben, and then you go up to Yerushalayim for Yom Tov. Review Daimer aliyah l'regel. You go up for Yom Tov v'achar kach paida is benoy, and then after that you paida your son. Why? Shazu mitzvah iveres. One is a mitzvah that's passing. Shazu mitzvah sheina iveres, and one is a mitzvah that's not passing. Right? Meaning, even though he's supposed to do the pidyon haben right away by the 30th day, or really the 31st day, right? But the bottom line is you have time to do it later. Masha Einkein, going up La'liyah Regels, if you don't do it now, it's going to pass. So therefore, you don't do it. Therefore, meaning you do the pidyon haben first, according to Rabbi Yehuda.
But it seems like you could do both, so I'm not hopping why.
Yeah, I don't know why you can't do both. Certainly, if you do it with a shliach, right?
I'm saying clearly, Tanakama holds you could do both. Otherwise, how could you say do pidyon and then do going to Regel?
Right.
So what's Rabbi Yehuda saying that you should do? That you should is reason makdim and like what is that? Is it a question of reason? Which one you have to be zarzin?
No, I think you mean
you obviously could do both. Otherwise, they wouldn't say which one you should do first. So is it a question of which one you should be zarzin to do first? It's not a question of doing them. It's just a question of which one you should be zarzin to do first. No.
And a chanami, so
it's not either or. That's my point.
It's not. Well, we're talking about a case of it's either or. Yes.
No, because our Tanakh says you can do both. First do this and then do that. Or is it
he's also saying the same thing. Right?
Let's say you can only do one. That's this is where the mission. It's not masha. You can
no,
only do
here
one.
It's not. Here we're talking about which one should you do first.
Right. So it's a question of zar. And if you can only do one, for whatever reason.
Oh, so one second. So some want to say the pshat here is the guy only has enough money to do either the pidyon haben or to go up to Eretz Yisrael. He can't do both. Even though it's not mashma like that in the lashon of the Gemara. But that, right? That's the way some say the question. From the Gemara, it's just mashma, which is the order. But it's easier to understand if that's the question. Fine. So the Gemara asks the Bishlam, Rabbi Yehuda you review this as a reason, right? Do the pidyon haben, go up to for Yom Tov, because that's an opportunity that's not gonna come back. But pidyon haben will still be there. What do Rabbanan say pidyon haben first? So they say simple. It says in the pasuk, every bechor of your kids you should be paida. And then the rest of the pasuk says that don't go up empty-handed to the Beis Hamikdash. So you see clearly that pidyon haben comes before aliyah l'regel. Fine. So Zogdi Gemara Torah Banim Minayin Shem Hayu LeChamisha Banim LeChamisha Nashim. Here you go, Naftali, right? If you have 5 sons from 5 wives, so how do you know that Shechai Lifta is calling? You have to do a pidyon haben for each one. Tamalaymer Kol Bechar Banecha Sifta. Every Bechar. So then it says Pshita. The Peta Rechem Talar Rachmana. The Torah is talking about Peta Rechem, the first of the mother's womb, right? So it's very nice by the father. He's got 5 kids, but by each mother, it's their firstborn. So it's pashut that he needs to do 5 pidyon events. So it says no, the same bechor minachla. Maybe you think you learn out bechor from inheritance, right? Malal on rachis einai there's rachis einai, meaning the bechor gets double. His bechor gets double. Afkan rachis einai. So maybe here too, his firstborn. So Kamash Malon, that it has nothing to do with his firstborn, it has to do with his wife's firstborn. So it comes out that the father is chayiv to do a pidyon haben, the mother is not, but it's all based on the mother's firstborn.
So if a
Right.
father is married to a woman that has a child, for his firstborn is her second. She had a child. There's
No
no
pidyon
pidyon
haben. Correct.
even though it's his firstborn.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Fine. The Lamdei Torah. Here we go. Ready? Now we start with the heavy, not heavy sugyas, but the to teach his son Torah. Minolan. How do you know? You got to teach it to your sons. And if the father doesn't teach him, he has to teach himself. And you should learn with them. Right, so that's it. So it's the father has to teach the son. If the father doesn't do it, then the son has to teach himself. How do we know a woman's not chayav to teach the kid?
What age is this that the father did not teach him? And now it cuts on the son to teach himself? What age is that?
Oh, so we're going to get to that tomorrow or the next stuff, or maybe the next. But what age? It's really just, well, let's hold off till the next one. But
We said it's on him, or it's on his father to hire
really
others.
Whichever. It's on the father to teach the kid. Right? Anyways, so how do you know the woman's not chayiv? The siv, vili madatem, ula madatem. Right? So basically, it depends on how you pronounce the words. So we can make some sort of like hekish. Kolshem mitzvah lilmod, mitzvah lamed. Anybody who's mechuyev to learn is mechuyev to teach. V'chol she'enoi mitzvah lilmod, and whoever is not mechuyev to learn, mitzvah lamed is not mechuyev to teach. And how do we know that she's not chayav to learn Torah? D'chsiv v'limadatem u'limadatem. Kol she'acher mitzvah lamdoi mitzvah lamed is atzmai. If you're mechuyev to teach others, you're mechuyev to teach yourself. Kol she'ein acher mitzvah lamdoi ein mitzvah lamed is atzmai. So again, we're going around in circles. The same thing we did with pidyon haben, right? I'm not sure how to. Meaning, where does it start? Where does it end? And Gershon made the same face when I said it by the pidyon haben. Yeah.
There's three different parts here.
Correct.
There's her teaching herself, her teaching others, and others teaching her.
Correct. And it's all tali zeh b'zeh.
No, the second two are tali zeh b'zeh. But the key to those is that she's not mechuyev to be taught. That's from a different drush. That's b'nei v'lei b'nei seich.
Correct.
Once I have that, the other two
but she's not
to each
mechuyev to be taught. She's not mechuyev to be taught. Why? Because she doesn't have to learn. What?
No, because b'nei v'lei b'nei seich. That's the third drush. It's b'nei v'lei b'nei seich. Now the other two are tayla on that. The other two are cyclical, but they're once you have this piece, then it doesn't matter. You can go around with the other two.
Correct, but it's not all tali zeh b'zeh.
No, it's all tali in the last one.
The one we didn't learn yet?
Yeah.
Well,
we learned it on Amidal.
We didn't finish it? Oh,
right.
Okay. What's that? To finish that? How do you know others are not mechuyev to teach her? Daughters and not sons. So once you have this, it goes all around in circles. Yeah. Fine.
Didn't
now,
we once say that you're mechuyev to learn because you need to know what you have to do?
Oh, so
don't they have mitzvahs that they have
one
to
second.
know?
So the Rishonim say that women are not chayiv to learn Torah for Torah's sake, but they are chayiv to learn Torah, whatever halachas that they're meant to know, they're mechuyev to learn. Right?
So that's excluded from this.
That's excluded from this. Yeah.
So the parts that need to know, they're mechuyev to teach. So they're mechuyev to teach their sons. Those halachas?
No, because they're only chayav to know because they have to know halacha. They're not mechuyev. There's no mitzvah. There's no mitzvah for them to learn Torah. The question is, so how do women make a bracha of birchas HaTorah every day? Right? If there's no mitzvah, that's a big. Is another big tumor.
Do they make that bracha every day?
As far as I know, they do. Yes.
Okay.
They have a mitzvah to bring their children to Torah.
That's not a mitzvah to learn Torah.
To be mechazik Torah.
That's true, but then maybe they should make a bracha on chizuk HaTorah, but not to learn Torah. They have no mitzvah to learn Torah. So obviously, you could say they have a mitzvah like Naphtali saying they have a mitzvah to learn the Torah that they have a mitzvah to learn the halachas that they need to know. Which, by the way, I can't. I'm sorry, I have to throw this in. But if they have a mitzvah to learn the halachas that they need to learn, men for sure do. Right, agav, right, agav. Okay, so now what does that say about our yeshiva
Who learns
system?
that today?
That's a plug for the halachas before.
As a plug for Reb is the Divrei Chaim learned with his daughters and daughter-in-laws every day.
That's so?
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think he writes a tshuva. I think in Yeridea, Kuf Aleph, I think he writes in his tshuva.
What? That he writes that he did that?
Divrei Chaim, I think.
Interesting. But anyways, I'm saying men also have a din to learn. Well, unfortunately, Mechavetz Chaim writes this also. Men have two reasons to learn Torah, Altzam Meilus, and to know the Torah. You got to know the Torah. For some reason, in our door, it got flipped. Hamelus we're all busy with, but not with the knowledge of what to do.
That's because of Berchus Avarabba. You say Lilmaid, and then a Lilamid, and then Lishmer, and then Lasnis.
It could be.
Saying a lot of people don't get the last. Is that what you're saying, Gershon?
Well, most I don't want to say any lashon hara a week before a thing, but how about the Lishmer or the Lalamid? We have Lamdus. That's Lilmaid. That's it.
Okay, whatever. That's yeah. But anyway. Fine. Weiter. So that's okay. So that's another tumult there. But the bottom line is, women are not chayav to learn Torah, right? Men are. So Tanarbanan, who lil moed u'benoi lil moed. So this, if anybody, this next line, if anybody wants to know what this means, come out to the Chabura in the morning, 10 to 9, okay, and you'll see this in action, okay? Who lil moed u'benoi lil moed. Who kaidem u'benoi, right? If he has to learn and his kids have to learn, he comes first, which is why when my kids most days don't want to go to school, I sit down with the Chabura and I learn. And if they don't go, they don't go, because who's learning is a priority, mine or my kids, right? That's a Beferish Gemara. I gotta show this to the teachers in the Siach Yitzchak. Say, listen, it's me or them. I go first, right? So Rav Yehuda Aimer, depends. In B'nai Zoriz, if the son is a Zoriz, meaning he likes learning Mulach, right? There's a little girsa issue there. They change it to Mullah or Mutzlach, whatever it is, meaning he's enjoying his learning and he's actually learning. And he's actually knowing, and then his son goes first. Now again, what does this mean? Right? So this means that there's not enough money for both the father to learn and the son to learn.
What about Chayecha Koidem or V'chata V'chayim? What is it? Why does he have to give it over to the son? Isn't his life more important in negate to this?
No, because he also has a mitzvah to make sure his son learns.
Okay, but he's an Oinus.
That could be he's an Oinus. Nobody's saying what he's, but the Shiloh's
I'm saying, but why are we giving it to the son? Why, just because he's smarter?
He was saying, no, really?
But
he goes
smarter,
first.
you mean, it only goes to the smart people, you mean?
Correct, exactly. Yes. If
Why?
Because if it's a matter of dollars and cents, literally, or figuratively, or both.
It goes to the person. Well, why should?
But you're getting a mitzvah for letting him learn.
You have a chiyuv to make your son learn, and it sounds like
he's better than you. Let him do it.
Why? Why? It only goes to the people who are smart? I don't understand.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah, he says, so
Yes.
I hate to say, Zev, you hit it on the head. You hit it on the head. That's what it seems. This Gemara seems to be a stark raya for the top, for the top kids.
I don't understand it. Explain
I
it
don't
to me.
understand it either. I don't understand it either. But this is a strong raya to those high level school. Very good, Gershon. Yeah. So he put on the thing dollars and cents.
Doesn't
SEN.
everybody who wants to learn in Kollel have to be supported forever?
Well, that's a different
It has
issue.
nothing to do. Doctor, stop it. There's nothing to do.
Kollel, we're not. Let's get something clear. It's good Dr. Zayar's brought it up. We're not talking about Kollel here. That's all bonus time. We're talking about kids of the age, or like David was asking before, what age are we talking about? Which we'll get to, right? Yeah. But anyways, so for your right, Zev, what should I tell you?
What's
right.
Uvacharta v'chayim mean? He has to choose life. What does that mean?
Again, it doesn't mean that the father's potter from learning. The father's chayiv to learn. He could sit in besmerish and break his head on Bereshis Bara Lekim.
The shaila is, does he pay a tutor to teach him or his son?
Exactly.
So why is his son going before him? I'm not sure.
Because his son is a superstar and he's not.
So what? The Torah says that a superstar gets it.
No.
Well, the Gemara just said it.
What does the Gemara mean?
No, I'll tell you what the Gemara means. The Gemara means as follows: you have $5 to give. You got $5. It's either you're going to spend it on a tutor for yourself or a tutor for your kid, right? Your kid is being matzliach and learning. The Gemara is saying, give it to your kid. Oh, b'charta b'chaim, you have to learn. So learn. Nobody's telling you not to learn. Learn. You're going to get the same schar. You're learning, right? But since your kid is being matzliach,
so the answer is for the furtherance of Torah in the world, you have to give it to your son. Is that the shot?
No, it's for the furtherance of Torah because the father's chayiv to make sure his kid knows Torah, and that's part of his responsibility. And his kid is being matzliach, so let his kid the money should be spent on his kid.
Let him get the tutor and teach his son.
What? That's what it's saying.
No, let him get the tutor for himself and teach his son.
Well, he should teach his son.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't.
How is he going to teach his son when his Torah is not miskayim blood? He doesn't remember what he learned himself. So tutor is going to go nowhere. But if he has a tutor for his son, at least someone will get something out of it.
So is the shot about with getting nowhere, or the shot is about learning Torah?
Well, that was the choice. It was a binary choice. If his son's going to do more with it, then he will, because he is not matzliach, and he's not zariz, and he's not talmud miskayim b'yadai, but his son is.
With other mitzvahs?
But Ze'ev's point is very good.
Your son's more matzliach in learning. You have to build a sukkah. Could the father ask his son to leave learning to build a sukkah, or the father has to go build a sukkah? Leave his son alone.
No, what?
Son is better.
No mitzvah and a father. There's no mitzvah for a father to make his kid build a sukkah.
Okay.
He has a mitzvah to teach his kid.
So you're saying let the kid learn and the father builds a sukkah.
You don't even have a mitzvah to build a sukkah.
That could be
One
too.
has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's Jacob, I vote that we continue right there and we pick this up another time.
Well, we're trying to learn over here. Very good.
Why don't you go learn with Simcha? Go learn with Simcha.
I is, but he's out by the tutor.
Okay.
I don't know, Zach. Maybe you should just have your son go instead.
Let's see. Kihoder of Yaakov, Breder of Achav Bar Yaakov. I don't know. This story is interesting story that gets brought here. So Rav Yaakov, the son of Rav Achav Bar Yaakov, Shadrei Avula Kameda Abaya. His father sent him to learn by Abaya. He also, when he came back, Chazi the loy have mechadan shmaitzi. He was not holding. He gave his kid a faher, and he said, "Imagine this type of parenting nowadays." So he gave his kid a faher, and he didn't have it. It wasn't mechuded. He wasn't sharp. Armalei says, "I'm better than you. Tuvat, you stay here. I'm going to the yeshiva instead. I'm paying them tuition. I'm going to do the tuition for myself. You stay home." Right? an interesting way. So Shama Abaya, the Kahava Asi, and that's Taka what happened, right? He was being more matzliach and learning than his kids. He said, I'm going to learn by Abaya. So Abaya heard that he's coming. Havahu mazik be rabbanon da Abaya. There was this mazik, right? And like a shade that was hanging out in Abaya's yeshiva. Rashi says that Abaya's yeshiva was far away from a yishuv. So Mamela, that's where shadim means. Shadim don't hang out in cities. Hence, that's why you need a shomer for a chosin, for an oval, right? So the Chiyava Aili Besren, when they would go with two, Afilu be a mama have a mizik. This guy was so strong that even when he went with the shomer, even if somebody went with a shomer, and even during the day, it would be damaging people, whatever this means. So Amar Lahu, so Abaya told them, do not give him a place to sleep, right? Meaning because we want him to sleep in the besmerish, because since he was so chashuv, maybe he'll be able to knock out this shade. After the Masrachash Nisa, maybe there's going to be a nace. Yeah, which is interesting again, because what with that we're davening for a nace. Yeah. So all bus. Rashi says bus means he went to sleep. But who beirabanan in that place, in that besmerish idmile ketnit ke tanina de shiva rishvase. He made the shade, made himself look like some sort of monster, 7-headed monster, right? Kol kriya the kara, and when he started davening, so he every time he bent down, Nasser Chad Reshe, one head of this monster fell off. Amalul Macha, the next day, Rav Acha told Abaya, and I told all of them, Eli Yisrachash Nisa Sakisin. If it wouldn't have been a nace, I would have been in a sakana from this shade. Okay, that's just the end of the story. But obviously, the first part of the story is why it was brought, that he went to learn instead of his son, because he was being more matzliach. Fine.
This Gemara is Ramesh's Raya that you bow just as low by Shalom as the other Kriyas during Shemona Esrei.
That what?
We only do 4 Kriyas during Shemona Esrei, the beginning and end of Alvis, the beginning and end of Maiden. So where's the 7 Kriyas? I think Ramesh brings this as the Raya that Isa Shalom is just as important as the other 4 Kriyas.
What? Yeah.
3 Kriyas by Isa Shalom. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Wow. Very good. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so Torah Bana. What's more important, to learn Torah or to marry? Okay, we go for the what's the name of the Shidduch crisis? Nasi. Yeah, Nasi project issues. Yeah, so Torah Bana. To learn Torah, to marry a woman, Yilmai Torah, you should learn first, and then you get married. Right? So does that mean forever? That's a shaila. It sounds like from the Gemara it means forever, but I don't know. Let's say he can't marry, he can't learn without a wife. So he should get married, and then he should learn. Halacha the halacha is that you should marry a wife and then learn Torah. You're going to put a rechayim. Rechayim means like a
noose,
a grinder.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah, basically a noose around your neck, and then you're going to learn Torah. I mean, how are you going to get married? You get married. How are you going to learn Torah? You're going to be busy. But like pligi halan v'halahu, very interesting machlokes here. What this means, halan v'halahu. One is us and one is them. Meaning, one is Bavel and one is Eretz Yisrael. So the way Rashi understands it is Bnei Bavel would go learn in Eretz Yisrael. So since they learned in Eretz Yisrael, they were nowhere near their wives. They were able to learn in peace, right? But the Bnei Bavel, the Bnei Eretz Yisrael, they lived at home, so therefore they wouldn't be able to learn. So therefore they should learn first, right? I mean, there's a lot of kashas which Tosfos asks on it, but again, Rashi's saying that the Bnei Bavel who always leave to learn in yeshiva, so Mamela, they can get married first. And The Bnei Eretz Yisrael who living at home, so if they're gonna be married, they're gonna be distracted. To which Tosfos has some pretty pashut kashas on Rashi, right? He's saying, of course, there's going to be her. I mean, what are you getting married for? So to avoid the her issues, right? The thinking about improper thoughts, right? So he says, of course they're going to. Get a guy gets married, then you send him off for 6 months. Why is that going to help his her, right? And then he sings the next one, which is really a kasha on the koilel, Dr. Zakaros on the koilel system. The next kasha is, what do you mean? You're getting married, you sign in the ksuba, not sign, but you agree in the ksuba that you're going to support your wife. And then what do? You get married, then you fly off to go learn. So how could it be? So Tosfos says the opposite. Tosfos says, is Bnei Bavel that they're, how does it go? Tosfos says that Bnei Bavel, that they can't leave their wives. So since they cannot leave their wives, therefore they should learn before getting married. And the Bnei Eretz Yisrael should get married. So Mamish, Tosfos, Rashi and Tosfos have complete opposites of how to understand this Gemara. Fine. Rav Chisda was praising, telling Rav Huna, how did it go again? Rav Chisda was praising Rav Huna that Rav Huna was a good, that was the Adam Gadol. So he said to him, when he comes to you, bring him to me. So ki asa chazia delay paras sudra. When he came, he saw that he was not wearing, I guess the equivalent, he wasn't wearing a hat. Another hot button topic, right? Yeah, married people. I think this is the source that married people wear a talis over their head, right? Look at the bottom Rashi. Rashi says, "Gederach hanasuin, show you regilin l'chasis roshim." People that were married would cover over their head, right? So he didn't have his head covered. Amalei, my time of prisa sudra. Why didn't you cover your head? Amalei, delay nesivna, because I'm not married. He turned away from him. Amalei, chazi delay chazi lulape adenasi. I don't want to see your face until you're married, right? If you're married, if you're 20 years old, you didn't get married, you're living in an avera. It's an avera. You're thinking about an avera, right? So Amar Rava b'chein tanat v'eder v'shmal archav shana yoshev hakadosh baruch hu mitzapa la'adam masai yisa isha. Up until 20, he waits till when he can marry a woman. Kivan shegia chav v'loy nasa aimer tipach etzmoisav. Once he gets 20, he doesn't get married, his bones should blow up. Amar Rav Chisda. Should we go back? Yeah, let's just finish the 2 dots. So now, I mean, bottom line is that Bachram don't get married till age 22, 23. Bottom line is not a Pashut thing at all. It's really not a Pashut thing. I heard a shir a couple of years ago from the Rosh Koil and Tarvadas. I forgot his name. He was talking about all these Rabbi Yehuda Chassids. So people call up, he says, and ask about, the girl's name is the same. My name is the name is a potential shver. Can I go out? He says, this what you worried about? You're 23 years old. You're already 3 years too late for the marriage. You're worried about Rabbi Yehuda Chassid. What about Shulchan Aruch?
Who said that?
That's what he answers. I forgot his Rabbi Wooliger. I was like, ooh, I hear. Anyways, so Amar Rav Chisda, ha da'adifna michavroi. I'm better than my friends. The Nesivna B'shitza. I got married at 16. V'avad Nesivna Ba'besan. I would have got married at 14. On Tamid Aleph Havamina L'Satan Gira Beinach. I would have been able to tell the Satan to put an arrow in your eyes. Somebody wrote it on Nasim Barami. Adidach al tzavari dvarecha. Adiyodach, I'm sorry. Al tzavari dvarecha. Your hand, when your hand is still on the neck of your son, meaning what? Meaning when you still have control. At least what you think you have control, right? Mishitza bad esem tarti. That age is from 16 to 22. Less than that, Rashi says, don't give any musar because the kid's not mature enough, right? And after that, he's already going to rebel. Some say it's from 18 until 24. Kitanoi. So this is actually machlokes tanaim. Chanoich lenar al pi darkoi, right? It says you have to be mechanech every kid according to his grade. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Nechem Yechadon b'shitzavat esem v'tartin. It's from 16 to 22. It goes from 18 until 24. So obviously the mahalach nowadays is to let the guys learn and then let them get married. Clearly, that's the mahalach nowadays. Yeah, okay. We'll stop here. And everybody should have themselves a fine night.